There's a universal moment that connects us all. You're sitting in a meeting, having what seems like a routine conversation, or maybe you're watching something that shouldn't be particularly moving. Then it happens. Your chest constricts. A familiar warmth builds behind your eyes. Before your rational mind can intervene, tears begin to form. And with them comes that instant companion, embarrassment. You blink rapidly, turn away, mumble an apology. Sorry, I don't know where that came from, as if your body needs to justify its most honest response. We live in a world that treats crying like a malfunction, a sign of weakness, instability, or inability to cope. So we learn to hold back, swallow down, and keep composing ourselves while everything inside wants to release. But what if we've been wrong about tears all along? What if they're not a breakdown, but a breakthrough? This isn't about learning to cry less. It's about discovering why some people's bodies speak in tears when words aren't enough. The science behind the release. Most people believe crying equals sadness or being overwhelmed by uncontrollable feelings. But crying isn't actually an emotion. It's a neurological response. Your autonomic nervous system continuously monitors your environment, deciding whether to mobilize energy or release it. When stress accumulates, your system activates. Focus sharpens, muscles tense, breathing quickens. You handle the situation, support others, make decisions, then something shifts. The meeting ends. You reach your car. The immediate pressure lifts. This is when your nervous system finally feels safe enough to discharge. For many people, that discharge manifests as tears. This explains why you might remain composed during a crisis only to break down hours later in private. It's not delayed weakness, it's delayed safety. Your body waited until it sensed permission to soften. Those who cry easily have particularly responsive discharge systems. Their nervous systems don't require dramatic overload to reset. They detect accumulation early and respond swiftly. Tears aren't system failure, they're system completion. Understanding this reframes everything. Instead of seeing crying as emotional incompetence, you can recognize it as biological wisdom, a quiet, efficient return to equilibrium that rarely asks permission. Your body produces tears with remarkable precision. Basal tears constantly lubricate your eyes. Maintenance tears, you never notice because they're not meant to be felt. Reflex tears respond to immediate threats, smoke, allergens, irritants. They flood quickly, flush out danger, then disappear. Efficient and mechanical. But emotional tears are different. Under microscopic analysis, they contain elevated levels of stress hormones like cortisol alongside natural pain relievers called endorphins. When you cry emotionally, your body isn't just expressing distress, it's actively treating it. This biochemical composition explains why crying often brings unexpected relief. Even when circumstances remain unchanged, internal pressure has been released. Chemical signals tied to stress have been metabolized. Emotional tears exist because some experiences require processing beyond what language can accomplish. When words reach their limits, your nervous system intervenes. Tears become the body's declaration. This matters and needs to move through me. Your tears aren't random emotional spillover, they're purposeful, designed to help you recover from the intensity of being human. If you cry easily, you likely don't just feel more, you absorb more. Most people navigate life with thick internal filters. Their brains automatically mute background stimuli, emotional undercurrents, environmental tension, subtle social shifts. Only the most obvious signals penetrate their awareness. For others, these filters are gossamer thin. You detect when someone's energy changes imperceptibly. You sense a room's emotional atmosphere immediately upon entering. Harsh lighting, persistent noise, unresolved conflict, unspoken expectations. They don't fade into background static. They accumulate. This isn't about being fragile or overly dramatic. It's about processing depth. A sensitive nervous system doesn't skim experiences. It absorbs them completely. And absorption carries weight. By day's end, it's rarely one incident that triggers tears. It's the cumulative load of everything your system couldn't fully release. Conversations where you maintained composure, crowded environments that kept you alert, emotional cues you tracked unconsciously. Crying, in this context, isn't overreaction. It's pressure released from accumulated input, but living without thick filters often breeds self-doubt. You question why things affect you more intensely than others. You attempt to toughen up, minimize reactions, silence your own signals to avoid feeling excessive. The truth is your nervous system isn't defective, it's finely calibrated. The challenge isn't becoming less sensitive. It's learning to exist in a world that rarely slows down to accommodate depth and providing your system the release it requests before it must communicate through tears. Have you experienced tears rising while watching someone else cry? Without understanding why, felt your chest tighten when a friend describes pain, though nothing in your life has changed? This response isn't imagination, it's neurobiology. Your brain contains mirror neuron networks that activate not only when you experience something directly, but when observing others experience it. When you witness pain, your brain simulates that pain. When you observe grief, part of your nervous system begins carrying it. For those with highly responsive systems, this mirroring intensifies dramatically. You don't simply understand others' emotions, you experience them. This is effective empathy, emotion passing through your body, not just your thoughts. This explains why emotional scenes feel overwhelming, why certain news stories linger when others move on, why being around distressed people leaves you drained even without personal discussion. This phenomenon is emotional contagion, unconscious absorption of another's emotional state. When that absorbed emotion lacks an outlet, it often exits through tears. These aren't tears about your story, they're about emotional weight you've carried on others' behalf. This empathy creates powerful connection, but without boundaries or recovery, it quietly exhausts your nervous system. Tears become a method for returning what doesn't belong to you, letting your body say, I felt that, and now I need to release it. The shame that follows for many. The hardest part isn't the tears themselves, it's the aftermath. The immediate apology, the lowered gaze, the familiar thought, why am I like this? Somehow crying transformed from biological response to personal failure. You didn't just feel overwhelmed, you felt exposed, as if emotions had betrayed you publicly. Shame differs from emotion. Shame is learned. Most people who cry easily weren't taught their feelings were welcome. They learned, sometimes subtly, sometimes directly, that tears made others uncomfortable. That crying was inconvenient, that it meant being excessive, needy, dramatic, difficult. So you adapted. You learned to cry privately, hidden in bathrooms, cars, late nights. You learned to preemptively explain yourself, soften reactions to make them more palatable. Over time, your body continued its necessary work, but your mind turned against it. This explains why many feel embarrassed even when alone. Why tears arrive with self-criticism instead of relief. Why you might feel ashamed of something biologically regulatory. Shame doesn't prevent tears. It adds another layer of suffering. When you ask, why am I like this? You're not questioning biology. You're questioning whether you're allowed to have needs, whether internal signals deserve space, whether emotions make you worthy of care or rejection. But here's what most never hear. There's nothing morally wrong with honest nervous system responses. Your shame isn't proof something's broken inside. It's proof that somewhere, your body learned it wasn't safe to be fully seen. Understanding this doesn't eliminate tears, but makes them kinder. Crying carries more than present moments. It carries history. Before we have language, our nervous systems learn connection patterns. As children, we discover what happens when expressing distress. Are we comforted, ignored, told to calm down, stop crying, handle it ourselves? These early experiences shape how our bodies use tears. For some, crying became a bridge to closeness. If care only arrived when emotions were visible, the nervous system learned tears were connection tools. This appears in anxious attachment. Tears aren't manipulation. They're unconscious signals. Please see me. Please don't leave. For others, emotions were dismissed or overwhelming to caregivers. Bodies learn to shut them down. This creates avoidant attachment. Tears held back for months, until pressure builds behind invisible walls. Then one small moment cracks the dam. What appears as overreaction is accumulated, grief finally finding exit. There's also quieter patterns many miss: emotional neglect. Nothing overtly harmful happened, no obvious trauma, just lack of emotional attunement. Feelings weren't punished but weren't mirrored either. Here crying feels confusing and uncontrollable because bodies learned emotion but not regulation. This explains crying over seemingly minor incidents with embarrassing intensity. Tears aren't only about now, they're responding to earlier moments never fully resolved. The important question isn't, why do I cry so much? But, what did my nervous system learn about safety, connection, and being met? When viewed through attachment lens, crying stops being character flaw and becomes learned pattern, one that once made sense, protected you, helped you stay connected. And patterns, unlike defects, can be understood with compassion. When biology meets culture, we cannot discuss crying without examining gender, where biology and culture intersect powerfully. Biologically, hormones matter significantly. Bodies use prolactin, a hormone linked to tear production and emotional expression. Women average significantly higher prolactin levels, lowering crying thresholds. Testosterone, more dominant in male bodies, can inhibit tear responses. Simply put, for many women, crying occurs more easily at physiological levels, but biology explains only part. Culture completes the lesson. From early ages, many boys learn directly or indirectly that tears are unacceptable. Don't cry, man up, be strong. Over time, nervous systems adapt. Sadness and fear don't disappear. They're rerouted into silence, irritability, anger. Bodies still feel but lose permission to release. This explains why many men report feeling emotionally flooded yet unable to cry. Systems are loaded, but outlets have been blocked for years. Psychologists call this emotional suppression, and it carries costs, higher stress levels, increased health risks, deeper isolation. If you're a man who cries easily, you're moving against decades of conditioning. Paradoxically, this makes you healthier, not weaker. Allowing tears is among the most direct ways nervous systems reduce stress. Breaking crying stigma isn't about encouraging vulnerability for its own sake, it's about giving bodies permission to do what they were always designed to do. Release, regulate, recover. When tears help and when they don't, crying is often described as healing, and frequently it is. After good cries, bodies may feel calmer. Breathing slows. Emotional edges soften. That's your nervous system completing stress cycles and returning toward balance, but crying isn't automatically helpful in every situation. There's an important difference between regulation and overload. When crying helps, it's usually followed by some relief, even subtly. Tears move through and afterward you feel clearer, more grounded. Emotion had somewhere to go. Now systems can rest. When crying becomes frequent but relief never comes, it signals not weakness but exceeded capacity. This happens when stress is chronic, not situational. When bodies never fully leave alert mode. When emotions are released, but conditions overwhelming nervous. Systems remain unchanged. In these cases, tears don't resolve tension, they reveal it. Many people get confused here. They assume the problem is crying too much, so they try controlling or suppressing it. But suppression doesn't increase capacity. It only removes warning lights. Crying in these moments is information. Bodies saying, something needs more support than I currently have. That support might be rest, boundaries, slowing down, reducing stimulation, or finally acknowledging minimized needs. Sometimes it means reaching for help beyond what you can provide. Alone, crying isn't the issue. To fix, it's the signal to honor. When you stop judging tears and start reading them, they become guidance rather than something to fight. And guidance, when honored, prevents systems from needing to speak louder next time. The truth about your tears, if there's one concept worth embracing, it's this. You are not someone who cries too much. Crying isn't your identity, it's information. Your tears are signals, messages from a nervous system paying attention. They indicate when something matters, when something exceeds capacity, when something needs care instead of endurance. They don't define who you are any more than rapid heartbeat defines your character. Many spend years trying to become people who cry less, when what they really need is becoming people who listen better to limits, needs, internal signals. When tears are treated as problems, they get fought or hidden. When treated as information, they become useful. They guide toward rest, boundaries, honesty with yourself. You don't need to toughen up emotions to function in the world. You need to understand the system carrying them. When you let tears move without shame, they pass more gently. When you stop making them mean something about your worth, they lose power to control you. What remains is clarity about what drains you, what connects you, and what your body has been trying to communicate all along. Your nervous system isn't broken, it adapted. It learned to survive, connect, and release in ways it knew how. That's not failure. That's remarkable resilience deserving of understanding. Not judgment, your tears tell a story. It's time to listen to what they're really saying.